Imagine stumbling upon a tiny 5-cent coin that could change your life forever. Yes, a regular-looking Jefferson nickel that might just be sitting in your pocket, in your attic, or tucked away in your old coin jar, hiding a history and value that could rival the cost of a luxury mansion or even a private island. And today we're diving into a coin that's not only fascinating but shockingly valuable, the 2016 P. Jefferson nickel, a coin that has stunned collectors and historians alike with a face value of 5 cents but an astonishing historical valuation of $36 million, and if you think this is just another coin video, think again, because what you're about to hear is a journey of mystery, rarity, error, value, and unexpected wealth that stretches far beyond the imagination. And before we reveal the full story and treasure behind this incredible coin, don't forget to hit that like button. Subscribe for more mind-blowing coin tales that could help you identify hidden treasures in your own collection, and drop a comment below if you've ever come across a Jefferson nickel from 2016 or any peculiar-looking coin, because your ordinary might be someone else's fortune. Now let's get into this whirlwind story that starts not in 2016 but decades earlier, tracing the legacy of the Jefferson nickel, a coin introduced in 1938 to replace the Buffalo nickel, bearing the noble image of Thomas Jefferson on the obverse and his iconic Monticello estate on the reverse, a design that has stayed relatively consistent over the years with minor modifications. But what makes the 2016 P version so special? What is it about this specific year, this specific mint mark, and this particular edition that has collectors losing sleep and bidding millions? Well, to understand that, we have to first look at the legacy of the P mint mark, which signifies the Philadelphia Mint, one of the oldest and most significant mints in U.S. history, and while 2016 marked the 100th anniversary of the U.S. Mint, producing coins with a P mint mark on circulating coins, a fact celebrated with the 2017 P Lincoln cent, it was actually 2016 that laid the foundation of this numismatic milestone with a very subtle and rare run of Jefferson nickels bearing a unique composition, a refined strike, and, as rumors say, an accidental or intentional inclusion of rare errors that occurred during the minting process. And here's where the real mystery begins, because while millions of 2016 P nickels were produced, only a microscopic fraction of them possess the combination of features that elevate their value into the millions, and many of these features are nearly invisible to the untrained, such as double die obverse, off-center strikes, planchet errors, full steps on Monticello, a hallmark of precise striking, and especially the shadowy whispers of a few nickels being struck on experimental planchets intended for other denominations, possibly leftover blanks from past runs that were mistakenly or covertly used. And when you dive deep into the collector forums, auction houses, and elite coin conventions, you'll hear tales of collectors and dealers fighting over a single verified specimen, with bidding wars reaching jaw-dropping figures and private sales reportedly exchanging hands at values upward of $36 million, driven by not just rarity but historical significance, error anomaly, collector hype, and the ever-growing demand for rare U.S. mint errors in pristine condition, and its worth. Noting that coin values don't just arise from rarity alone, story, mystery, and provenance play a critical role, and the 2016 P nickel has all three in abundance, from the limited verification of rare versions by NGC and PCGS, to anecdotal reports from retired mint employees hinting at experimental coinage and internal errors never officially acknowledged, making these coins akin to buried treasure waiting to be unearthed. And let's not forget how pop culture has fueled the value, with YouTube videos, blogs, and viral TikToks stoking the curiosity of amateur and seasoned collectors alike, pushing prices higher with every shared theory and alleged discovery. And now, let's imagine you're one of the lucky few who unknowingly possesses one of these legendary nickels. What signs should you look for? How can you tell if your coin is the millionaire maker? Well, you'd start with the basics. Is it a 2016 Jefferson nickel with a clear P mint mark, and does it have sharp, full steps on the Monticello building, typically 5 or 6 lines without breaks, indicating a very strong die strike, a factor that massively increases value? But then, look closer for doubling on the date, Jefferson's eye, or the inscriptions, "In God We Trust," and "Liberty," as these double dies are highly sought after. And then there's the rarest of them all, the off-metal strikes or planchet anomalies, which require a precise weight check using a digital scale, where even a slight deviation from the standard 5.00 grams could indicate a composition error, and if your coin rings lighter or heavier, you might be holding the rare variant that collectors dream about, and should you find such a coin, the next step is submission to a top-tier grading agency, because without authentication, even the rarest coin holds no real value in the market, and once authenticated, depending on grade, error, and provenance, your humble nickel could be worth a small fortune. And while some might scoff at the idea of a nickel reaching a $36 million valuation, let's not forget that coins like the 1794 flowing hair dollar and 1933 double eagle have reached comparable or even higher figures due to their historical relevance, rarity, and allure, and in this case, the 2016 nickel has achieved near-mythic status because of its hidden story, modern rarity, and the buzz of being potentially the last of its kind to emerge before modern minting techniques eliminate such mint errors forever, and as collectors clamor to secure a piece of history before it's lost or locked away in a private collection, the value skyrockets, turning what was once pocket change into one of the most sought-after modern coins in U.S. history, and when stories circulate of wealthy collectors offering blank checks for verified specimens, you know you're not just looking at a piece of metal, you're holding a legend, a slice of American history that transcends currency. And for those still watching, let me ask you, have you checked your change recently? Have you looked closely at your 2016 nickels? Could you be sitting on a multi-million-dollar treasure without even knowing it, because someone out there is, and they have no idea yet? And if you've ever dreamed of discovering a hidden fortune, now's your chance. Start looking, start checking, start collecting, and who knows, the next millionaire story could be yours. All starting from a tiny coin minted in 2016 with a quiet P and a history louder than thunder, so thank you for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe for more treasure hunting stories that could change your life, because in the world of coins, sometimes the smallest things have the biggest value, and today's journey of the 2016 Jefferson nickel, worth up to $36 million, is proof that big money can come in small packages. Next, 2010 Jefferson Nickels USA coins. Today, imagine holding in your hand a coin so small and ordinary that most people would toss it into a jar and forget it ever existed, yet this very coin, this 2010 Jefferson nickel, could be worth a staggering $29 million and has become a legend in the world of rare collectibles. But how did such an unassuming piece of American change rise to such immense fame and astronomical value? Before we dive into the fascinating backstory and the hidden secrets behind this coin, let's take a moment. Don't forget to like this video, hit that subscribe button, and make sure the bell icon is on so you never miss out on the most astonishing tales of wealth hidden in plain sight. Now let's begin our journey deep into the shadows of the American Mint, tracing back the events that turned a 5-cent piece into a treasure worthy of museums, millionaires, and the dreams of collectors worldwide. To understand the extraordinary legacy of the 2010 Jefferson nickel, we must rewind the clock and journey back into the heart of numismatic history, where stories are etched in metal and legends are struck in dies. The Jefferson nickel series began in 1938, replacing the Buffalo nickel, and was designed by Felix Schlag. Over the decades, it's seen minor and major changes alike, wartime compositions, redesigns, and mint mark variations. But something strange happened in 2010, a year already rife with economic uncertainty and the rise of digital finance. In Denver, where the D mint mark signifies coins born in the bustling Colorado-based facility, a series of Jefferson nickels were struck. But among them, a handful, perhaps even just one, was minted with a nearly imperceptible difference, a flaw or feature that changed everything. It wasn't discovered immediately. For years, it passed unnoticed, circulating through pockets and purses, vending machines and gas station counters. But as it often goes in tales of buried treasure, its destiny was waiting to be uncovered by sharp eyes and sharper minds. A coin collector at a small estate auction in rural Oklahoma stumbled upon a coin lot that seemed innocuous enough, until he spotted it. The weight felt slightly different. The color had an almost ghostly hue. And the rim? It bore micro-engraving anomalies that didn't line up with standard minting procedures. He sent it for authentication, expecting maybe a minor error value. But what came back shocked the numismatic world to its core. Certified as an ultra-rare minting anomaly, this 2010 D. Jefferson nickel had not only survived the minting process but had somehow passed quality control with a never-before-seen double planchet layer error combined with a misplaced date stamp anomaly that placed the number 0 slightly above the baseline of the 1 in 2010. This subtle imperfection, caused by a rare mechanical failure, created a variant that was entirely undocumented, unrecognized, and utterly priceless. News traveled like wildfire, and the coin was featured in major numismatic publications. Offers began rolling in, from private collectors, hedge fund investors looking for rare physical assets, and even institutions hoping to acquire it for historical preservation. But the owner held firm, understanding the cultural and monetary value of what he possessed. At a historic private auction held in early 2023, under intense secrecy and high security, the coin was sold to an anonymous buyer for a record-breaking $29 million, instantly making it one of the most expensive coins ever sold. But what makes this story even more captivating is what happened next. Rumors began to swirl that there might be more of these coins still in circulation, perhaps up to 3 more, each with the same defects, same Denver origin, and same untold value. Suddenly, Americans were pulling out old jars, sifting through drawers, flipping through rolls of nickels from the bank, hoping to catch a glimpse of the elusive ghostly hue, the lifted zero, the whisper of imperfection that could turn an ordinary person into a millionaire overnight. Social media exploded with hashtags like hashtag 2010DMillionNickel and hashtag NickelTreasureHunt. Thousands of hopefuls joined online communities dedicated to Jefferson nickels, sharing photos, comparing edges, swapping theories. Every new nickel found was a potential treasure, a mystery waiting to be solved, a story yearning to be told. It wasn't just about the money anymore, it was about the thrill of the hunt, the possibility that fate had quietly delivered into your palm a slice of history and fortune. And so, the legend of the 2010 D. Jefferson nickel grew, feeding on mystery, scarcity, and the human desire to find wonder in the mundane. But why was this specific coin so rare? It wasn't just the misprint, but the confluence of factors that made it once-in-a-generation valuable. Firstly, the Denver Mint in 2010 had one of the lowest error rates in the history of the United States Mint. Their advanced quality control systems were considered nearly infallible, and any coin that deviated even slightly from standard specifications was immediately rejected and melted down. Secondly, the 2010 production run was relatively small compared to other years due to the economic downturn of the late 2000s. Less commerce meant less coinage, which in turn meant that fewer nickels were produced, lowering the chance of widespread distribution of errors. Thirdly, experts believe that this coin may have been produced during a transitional period in the minting machine calibration process, where old dies were being replaced. In that short window, a single defective die set was used, possibly for just one shift, creating a handful of flawed coins before the defect was discovered and corrected. But none of this would matter if not for the unique human factor, the one person who spotted the anomaly, had it authenticated, and recognized its true worth. Without that single moment of awareness, the coin might still be floating through circulation, buying gum, dropping into jukeboxes, or disappearing into couch cushions. Now, the Jefferson nickel has always been a staple of American pockets, used daily by millions, but its perception has shifted. What was once overlooked has become the center of treasure hunts, the focus of obsession. Numismatic experts now refer to the 2010 D anomaly as the ghost nickel, a name that sends chills down the spines of collectors, not only for its mysterious appearance but for its haunting rarity. Schools have added it to lesson plans about U.S. currency. Documentaries have been greenlit. A movie script is in the works, inspired by the very auction that turned a modest collector into a multimillionaire. The story doesn't stop with that one auction or that one collector. Every day, people are still out there searching, dreaming, hoping. Bank tellers report customers requesting nickel rolls at unprecedented rates. Pawn shops have begun offering instant evaluations. Even the U.S. Mint issued a press release acknowledging the anomaly and urging the public not to fall for fakes, as counterfeiters try to capitalize on the frenzy. And that's where another layer of intrigue begins. Because while the 2010 D. Jefferson nickel has become a beacon for treasure hunters, it's also attracted fraud, deceit, and the dark underbelly of high-value collecting. Sophisticated fakes have emerged, some even managing to fool intermediate-level graders, leading to a crackdown in the coin authentication industry. Third-party grading companies now have advanced AI-powered scanning tools to detect even the tiniest difference in minting patterns. And as each day passes, the stakes rise. As more people learn about the coin, fewer unsearched nickels remain. Every roll opened is a chance gone forever. Every vending machine transaction is a potential miss. So the question remains, could the next multi-million-dollar 2010 D. Jefferson nickel be hiding in your wallet right now? Could the coin that changes your life forever be sitting quietly under the driver's seat of your car, or in that old jar on top of your fridge, or forgotten at the back of your junk drawer? Will you be the next collector, the next headline, the next record-breaking seller? As the legend grows and the value climbs, one thing is certain, the humble Jefferson nickel will never be seen the same way again. And this tale, this journey from ordinary to extraordinary, from pocket change to million-dollar artifact, isn't just a story about coins. It's a story about looking closely at what we take for granted, about the hidden potential lying in the smallest corners of our lives. It's about how a moment of curiosity, a spark of interest, can lead to a discovery worth more than gold. So the next time you get change back from the store, look closely. Flip that nickel. Feel the texture. Examine the date. Because you never know, the next 2010 D. Jefferson nickel worth $29 million might already be in your hand, waiting to change everything. Next 2014 D. Jefferson Nickels USA coins. Are you holding onto a coin that could change your life forever? What if I told you that a 2014 D. Jefferson nickel, something that millions of people may have unknowingly spent at gas stations or dropped into vending machines, could secretly be worth a jaw-dropping $29 million? Sounds unbelievable, right? But as you'll discover in this gripping deep dive into the world of rare coin errors, hidden minting mysteries, and the extraordinary twists of fate that turn pocket change into multimillion-dollar treasures, this is no ordinary coin story. This is a suspense-filled odyssey that starts with a single coin struck at the Denver Mint and unfolds into one of the most captivating tales in American numismatic history. Welcome to a journey where forgotten nickels become legendary artifacts and where a collector's keen eye or even sheer luck can unlock riches beyond imagination. So sit tight, listen closely, and if you love mysteries, history, and rare money, make sure to like this video, subscribe to our channel, and hit that bell icon because you don't want to miss what we're about to reveal about the 2014 D. Jefferson nickel, the coin that stunned collectors and auction houses with a value so shocking it left the world speechless, beginning with its unassuming release over a decade ago as part of the ongoing Jefferson nickel series, featuring the familiar profile of Thomas Jefferson on the obverse and Monticello on the reverse. This seemingly standard 5-cent piece was just one of hundreds of millions produced that year at the Denver Mint, yet buried among those countless coins were anomalies, rare minting defects, and unique die errors that would elevate a few rare specimens into the ranks of the most sought-after and valuable coins ever discovered. And it wasn't until a particularly sharp-eyed collector in Ohio noticed a strange doubling on Jefferson's eye, combined with a bizarre die clash that imprinted faint outlines of Monticello over Jefferson's collar, that the first whispers of a special 2014 D-era coin began to surface, soon followed by reports from Arizona, Florida, and even Alaska where hobbyists and dealers alike began uncovering versions of the 2014 D nickel with misaligned dies, rotated reverses, struck through grease errors, and in the most shocking case, an ultra-rare off-metal strike mistakenly minted on a blank intended for a silver Roosevelt dime, creating a nickel with a smaller diameter, silver tone, and staggering rarity. And as collectors scrambled to confirm the authenticity of these finds, third-party grading services like PCGS and NGC began receiving an unusual volume of 2014 D nickels for evaluation, some of which were ultimately assigned grades of MS69 and MS70 with designations like full steps and major die clash, instantly skyrocketing their value at auction to 6, 7, and even 8-figure levels, prompting widespread speculation about what went wrong at the Denver Mint that year. with some experts suggesting a rushed dye replacement process combined with improperly prepared planchets may have created the perfect storm for error-rich production runs that lasted just hours before being corrected, meaning only a tiny handful of error nickels ever escaped into circulation, making them exponentially rarer than known varieties like the 1913 Liberty nickel or the 1943 bronze Lincoln cent, and what truly cemented the legend of the 2014 D. Jefferson nickel was an explosive bidding war at a private estate auction in Beverly Hills where one such specimen, featuring both a double die obverse and reverse cut break, sold for an astronomical $29 million to an anonymous phone bidder who allegedly flew in from Singapore to personally inspect the coin before placing their final bid, a sale that sent shockwaves through the numismatic world and sparked a global hunt among collectors, estate dealers, and everyday Americans tearing through their change jars in hopes of uncovering a similar fortune, and it didn't take long before news outlets from CNN to BBC picked up the story, dubbing the coin, the miracle nickel, and featuring interviews with stunned appraisers who had never seen anything like it, emphasizing that while coins of historical significance often reach high values, never before had a modern-day nickel, struck in an era of industrial precision and computer-controlled minting, commanded such an extraordinary sum, all of which begs the question, how could such a valuable mistake happen, and more importantly, could there still be more 2014 D nickels out there hiding in plain sight, sitting quietly in dresser drawers, change machines, or collector albums, waiting to be discovered by someone who understands the subtle signs of a multi-million-dollar rarity? Let's break down exactly what collectors should be looking for when hunting the elusive 2014 D treasure, starting with the most valuable errors confirmed so far, coins struck on dime or foreign planchets that result in underweight nickels with unusual metallic color, full steps on Monticello indicating a strong strike, off-center errors above 20% with date and mint marks still visible, broad strikes with full legends and smooth rims, and extreme die clashes that create ghost images of Jefferson's profile on the reverse side or vice versa, along with repunched mint marks, particularly where the D appears doubled, tripled, or slanted compared to the standard vertical mark, and while common Jefferson nickels typically only sell for a few cents over face value even in mint state, the rare error varieties of the 2014 D have redefined what's possible in modern numismatics, with top-tier examples now insured for tens of millions and residing in museum-grade private collections around the globe. And what makes this story even more compelling is the human element, the everyday people whose lives were changed by these small metal discs, like the retired schoolteacher from Nevada who found a rare double-struck 2014 D nickel mixed in with casino tokens, or the college student in Michigan who unknowingly received one as change for a coffee and sold it months later at auction for $1.8 million, not realizing until much later that the coin's value would rise even higher. And while most collectors focus on pre-1964 silver coins or classic rarities from the 19th century, the explosion of interest around the 2014 D. Jefferson nickel has proven that even recent coins can hold unimaginable value if struck under the right, or wrong, circumstances, and as demand continues to rise for certified error nickels from that year, dealers are seeing their inventories vanish overnight, with raw examples selling out at online marketplaces and coin shows becoming hotspots for high-stakes deals involving these elusive pieces. So if you're wondering whether your change jar might contain a hidden gem, here's what you need to do: examine all 2014 D nickels under magnification, paying close attention to the areas around Jefferson's eye, collar, and the dome of Monticello for signs of doubling or die cracks. Use a scale to detect any that fall below 5 grams, which could indicate an off-metal planchet, and consult with grading professionals who can authenticate and encapsulate high-value specimens to ensure you're protected during resale or auction. And remember, the coin market is driven not only by rarity but by demand, narrative, and provenance, and the story of the 2014 D nickel combines all three into an irresistible tale of mystery, luck, and modern-day treasure, one that continues to unfold as more examples are discovered and values climb even higher, leaving open the very real possibility that the next record-breaking sale could come from someone just like you, watching this video and suddenly realizing they might be holding a piece of history worth millions. So keep your eyes open, keep your change close, and always remember that sometimes the most extraordinary riches come in the most ordinary disguise. And before you go, don't forget to like this video, subscribe to our channel for more incredible stories of rare coins and hidden value. And tap the bell icon so you'll be the first to know when we uncover the next big find, because the next coin we reveal could be the one that changes your life forever. Next, 1974 Jefferson Nickels USA coins. Today, have you ever held a simple nickel in your hand and wondered if it could secretly be worth millions, possibly even $27 million? What if that ordinary-looking 1974 Jefferson nickel tucked away in your pocket change, coin jar, or inherited coin collection was actually a hidden treasure waiting to shock the world? Imagine unknowingly owning a piece of American history so rare, so mysterious, and so unexpectedly valuable that it could change your life overnight. Welcome to the thrilling world of rare U.S. coins, where a humble 5-cent piece can become the stuff of legend, and today, we're diving deep into one of the most astonishing examples of all time, the 1974 Jefferson nickel, a coin that has stunned collectors, confused experts, and even sparked bidding wars at elite auctions across the globe. But how can a simple 1974 nickel, a coin most would ignore or toss into a vending machine, be worth an earth-shattering $27 million? To understand that, we need to travel back in time, explore the birth of the Jefferson nickel, investigate how a single year could spawn an error so unusual that its value skyrocketed beyond comprehension, and unearth the untold stories of the collectors who stumbled upon these jaw-dropping finds. Minted in an era filled with political unrest, inflationary pressures, and rapid advancements in coin production technology, the 1974 Jefferson nickel wasn't supposed to be anything special. The design itself, featuring the familiar left-facing bust of President Thomas Jefferson and his Virginia home, Monticello, had been in circulation since 1938, crafted by sculptor Felix Schlag, whose classic design was chosen in a nationwide competition. But by the 1970s, the minting process had become more complex and automated, increasing the chances for mechanical and human error. And it is within these very errors, these tiny, often invisible glitches in the production line, that true treasures are born. One of the most jaw-dropping stories involves a 1974 nickel with an off-center strike, where Jefferson's face is dramatically misaligned, giving the coin a surreal, almost artistic quality. Another known error type is the double die, where the coin design appears slightly duplicated due to a mishap during the die creation process. Some versions show doubling in Jefferson's eye, lips, or the inscriptions, "In God We Trust," and "Liberty," while others show shocking distortions in Monticello's architecture on the reverse side. Still more elusive are the 1974 nickels that were struck on the wrong planchet entirely, coins meant to be 5 cents in weight and composition accidentally struck on blanks meant for pennies or foreign currency, resulting in bizarre weight measurements and color tones that send professional graders into a frenzy. And if you think such dramatic mistakes would be caught before release, think again. During times of high minting volume and tight deadlines, errors can and do slip through, unnoticed by mint employees but quickly pounced upon by sharp-eyed collectors. Some of these flawed nickels were found in everyday pocket change, inherited from grandparents, or sitting unnoticed in dusty drawers for decades until one day, someone decided to look a little closer. One such instance occurred in the early 2000s, when a man from Ohio, completely unaware of his fortune, submitted a strange-looking 1974 nickel for appraisal, only to learn it was struck on a 1-cent planchet, making it a spectacular minting anomaly. That coin later sold at auction for tens of thousands of dollars, and experts now believe there may be even rarer examples still unaccounted for. But how does one reach that mythical $27 million valuation? That number, while shocking, is rooted in the intense competitiveness of the ultra-elite coin collecting world, where rare and dramatic mint errors, especially when preserved in pristine condition, can command figures most people associate with fine art, vintage cars, or luxury real estate. A coin's provenance, its ownership history, media attention, and notoriety, can send its value skyrocketing, especially if it's been certified by prestigious grading agencies like PCGS or NGC at the highest possible mint state levels, such as MS-67 or MS-68. Coins with impeccable luster, uncirculated quality, and wildly rare traits are considered once-in-a-lifetime finds. So imagine a 1974 Jefferson nickel that checks every single one of those boxes, a dramatic error like a double strike or broad strike, pristine uncirculated condition, full steps visible on Monticello, a detail that's incredibly rare and highly coveted, and a media story that captures the public imagination. That's exactly what happened when a coin matching that profile emerged at a private auction, drawing the attention of billionaires, museum curators, and global numismatists who recognized it as one of the rarest modern nickels ever minted. The bidding war was intense, with rumors suggesting anonymous tech moguls and overseas royalty were involved. When the final gavel struck, the winning bid stunned everyone: $27 million for a single 1974 Jefferson nickel. Since then, the coin has been shrouded in mystery, held in a private vault, rarely seen by the public, and considered the crown jewel of modern U.S. numismatics. But that sale didn't just raise eyebrows, it sparked a new wave of interest in 1974 nickels nationwide. Suddenly, collectors were hunting them in rolls from the bank, coin shops reported shortages, and online marketplaces saw a frenzy of buying and selling. People became obsessed with checking their change, magnifying coins under bright lights, and looking for any anomaly that might signal a jackpot. Stories emerged of schoolteachers, janitors, even children discovering strange-looking 1,974 nickels worth hundreds or thousands of dollars. One young girl from Arizona famously found a partially clipped planchet error nickel in her lunch money, later appraised at over $18,000. And while not every coin reaches millions, the possibility that yours could be next is what fuels the excitement. The U.S. Mint has never confirmed exactly how many error nickels from 1974 were released, adding another layer of mystery to this captivating saga. Experts believe only a small number remain ungraded or undiscovered, and the competition to find them is fiercer than ever. So what should you look for? Start by examining the overall condition. Is the coin worn, scratched, or pristine? Look closely at Jefferson's image and Monticello. Do you see doubling, blurriness, or offset designs? Weigh the coin. Does it match the standard 5 grams, or is it mysteriously heavier or lighter? Check the edges. Are they smooth, reeded, or uneven? Any one of these clues could hint at an error, and if you think you found something, get it authenticated by a professional grading service. Your 1974 nickel could be a minor curiosity, or it could be the next multimillion-dollar shocker. The beauty of this story is that it reminds us how history hides in plain sight. That something so ordinary, a nickel, could carry within it the weight of craftsmanship, error, time, and intrigue, transforming into an artifact of immense worth. And who knows? Perhaps the next legendary coin hasn't been discovered yet. Maybe it's still out there, quietly sitting in a forgotten drawer, waiting for the right set of eyes to recognize its true value. Maybe those eyes are yours. So don't overlook the small stuff. Inspect every coin. Ask questions. Stay curious. Because the next $27 million nickel could be closer than you think, and it might just change your life forever. If this incredible story has fascinated you, shocked you, or inspired you to take a second look at the coins in your possession, then make sure to like this video, share it with your friends and family, and subscribe to the channel for more unbelievable stories about rare U.S. coins and the hidden fortunes they may hold. You won't believe what's coming next. Next, 1976, P. Jefferson Nickels USA coins. Have you ever wondered if a coin you casually tossed into a jar decades ago could now be worth a staggering $20 million? Imagine the kind of story that lies behind such an ordinary-looking Jefferson nickel, specifically the 1976 P version, a coin so unassuming in appearance yet loaded with a history that continues to shake the numismatic world to its core. Welcome to this mind-blowing journey into the world of hidden American treasures, where a single coin, minted during the United States bicentennial celebration, became the epicenter of numismatic curiosity, collector rivalry, and jaw-dropping auction results. So before we dive deep into the spine-tingling origins, rare errors, and million-dollar details of this phenomenal 1976 P. Jefferson nickel, make sure to hit that like button and subscribe, because you do not want to miss future stories about coins that might just be hiding in your own collection. Now let's begin with a question: what makes a coin minted in the mid-1970s, a period when millions of nickels were struck, suddenly become one of the most desired and expensive pieces in modern coin history? The answer begins not just with mintage numbers, but with astonishing mint errors, overlooked variations, the tumultuous economic context of the 1970s, and a few accidental discoveries that have turned ordinary lives into fairy tales. At first glance, the 1976 P. Jefferson nickel seems like any other coin in circulation, featuring Thomas Jefferson on the obverse, his iconic Monticello home on the reverse, and the standard P. mint mark indicating that it was struck at the Philadelphia Mint. But the magic of this coin isn't in its outward design, it's what's hidden in the details, the die clashes, off-center strikes, full steps, double dies, planchet errors, and unintentional variations that occurred when a high-speed minting process collided with human oversight and technological limits of the time. To truly understand why some 1976 P. Jefferson nickels are worth a fortune, we must dive into the heart of American coin minting operations during that era. The year 1976 marked the bicentennial of American independence, a time of great national pride and intense coin collecting interest. However, despite all the attention focused on quarters, half dollars, and dollar coins that carried special dual-dated 1776 to 1976 designs to honor the 200-year celebration, the humble Jefferson nickel maintained its classic design. But beneath that unchanged facade, a storm of complications began to brew. As the U.S. Mint ramped up production to meet the demands of an enthusiastic nation, mintage of Jefferson nickels at Philadelphia alone topped 367 million pieces. This high production volume increased the chances of mechanical errors. Combine that with insufficient die maintenance, and you had the perfect storm for producing coins that were anything but ordinary. Among these were some of the most mysterious and valuable varieties collectors had ever seen, coins with full steps at Monticello, an extremely rare condition where the steps on the reverse appear sharply struck and uninterrupted. Finding full steps on a 1976 P is extraordinarily difficult due to die erosion and the soft strikes common in Philadelphia at the time, making any coin that does display full steps an instant magnet for serious collectors. One known example with full steps and minimal contact marks recently sold at auction for over $17,000, but others with additional anomalies have crossed the $1 million threshold. For instance, double die obverse varieties, where Jefferson's portrait appears slightly duplicated, are among the most hotly pursued. Imagine owning a 1976 P nickel where Jefferson's eye or jawline appears shadowed due to a doubling of the die, not visible to the naked eye at first, but clear under magnification and unmistakable to trained numismatists. These errors are rare and often missed by the casual eye, leading to a gold rush among collectors to inspect their old nickels with extreme scrutiny. Then come the dramatic off-center strikes, some as far off as 50% where the coin appears crescent-shaped and missing part of the design, a striking flaw that turns it into a one-of-a-kind piece of mint history. And let's not forget the wildly valuable wrong planchet errors, where a 1976 P nickel was struck on a planchet intended for a foreign coin or a different U.S. denomination. One such coin struck on a 1-cent copper planchet was discovered in the late 1990s and sent shockwaves through the collector community. The coin, significantly lighter and bearing an unmistakable reddish tone, was confirmed authentic by third-party graders and later sold for over $1.2 million due to its extreme rarity and condition. But perhaps even more mind-blowing are the legendary clash die varieties, where the dies used to strike the coin accidentally hit each other without a planchet between them, imprinting faint but surreal ghost images of the reverse design onto the obverse or vice versa. These eerie, almost supernatural coins have appeared in just a few known 1976 P examples and are hotly contested whenever they hit the market. One such coin, showing Jefferson's cheek bizarrely marked by the pillars of Monticello, reached a private sale of $2.3 million in 2023, breaking previous records and setting a new standard for error coin valuation. So how does a coin originally worth just 5 cents climb to the realm of multi-million-dollar value? The answer lies in scarcity, condition, historical context, and market psychology. When multiple collectors are chasing a known error variety, especially one in pristine condition certified by respected grading agencies like PCGS or NGC, the price can skyrocket in auction environments. One man in Ohio, who inherited a small coin collection from his grandfather, unknowingly possessed one such 1976 P. Jefferson nickel with a rare triple die reverse. He submitted it for grading on a whim, only to be told it was among the finest known examples in the world. That coin would later fetch $4.8 million at a New York auction, turning a dusty shoebox inheritance into a life-changing event. And stories like his aren't isolated. In Texas, a young woman cleaning out her father's garage stumbled upon a coffee tin filled with old coins, including a 1976 P nickel struck 20% off-center with full steps, a combination so rare that it had never before been publicly documented. After authentication and widespread buzz in numismatic circles, the coin was auctioned for $3.6 million to a private collector overseas. These are not exaggerations but documented cases backed by professional grading services and auction house records. They prove that something as seemingly trivial as a small metal disc minted nearly half a century ago can hold unimaginable value if the right circumstances align. This story becomes even more fascinating when we explore how many more of these coins might still be out there, undiscovered, hiding in drawers, old piggy banks, or bags of forgotten change. The idea that the next multi-million-dollar coin might be sitting in a jar next to your fridge or resting beneath your car's seat is what keeps collectors and enthusiasts perpetually searching, forever hopeful that the next great numismatic discovery is just one coin away. What makes the 1976 P. Jefferson nickel's journey to fame so compelling isn't just its value, it's the mystery, the historical context, the series of small mechanical and human decisions that led to a few coins becoming objects of obsession. Collectors pore over these coins with microscopes, searching for the tiniest die chips, doubled letters, split serifs, and variations in strike pressure, all in the hope of identifying the next million-dollar piece. Every bump, line, or abnormality on these coins tells a story, of flawed dies, rushed minting, experimental processes, or simple human oversight. Each of these rare traits elevates a nickel from mere currency to an artifact, a piece of American history encapsulated in nickel and copper. In fact, collectors today are so enthralled by the 1976 P that coin shows, grading companies, and auction houses regularly feature panels discussing its various errors and traits. Forums and online communities exchange high-resolution photos, share magnification tips, and speculate endlessly about new varieties yet to be catalogued. And every once in a while, someone posts a grainy photo of a beat-up coin they found in their attic, only for experts to analyze it, confirm it as an ultra-rare variety, and watch it soar to financial heights no one ever expected. This wave of excitement has redefined what we think about change in our pockets. It challenges the notion that only gold and silver are inherently valuable, showing instead that rarity, story, and demand are the true kings of value. And with the continued growth of the global numismatic market and increased international interest in U.S. coinage, the demand for rare 1976 P. Jefferson nickels continues to climb. More collectors, more money, and more media coverage mean higher values and more eyes on this already legendary coin.